Hello and welcome to Recyclist. It's December 15th, 2023. I'm your host, Eric Provost, and this is your weekly roundup of all the biggest news stories in the world of waste, gas, and energy, presented by Diamond Scientific. First up, and as always, let's take a very quick look at the stock market and 5 stocks currently on the move within the world of waste, gas, and energy. As of December 15th, 2023, Dominion Energy is currently trading at a volume of 2,426. Enbridge Incorporated is at 2,827. Clean Energy Corp is currently trading at a volume of 3,028. Chevron Corp is currently at 37,827. And BP is at a volume of 98,533. And sticking with business for a minute as we move into the news, just like last week, we have an acquisition to talk about as RF Investment Partners and its portfolio company, Ally Waste Services, announced recently the acquisition of Waste Consolidators Incorporated, a provider of bulk waste collection services for residential and commercial complexes. This investment builds on the success of Ally Waste's partnership with Waste Control and the integration of its waste removal services earlier this year. Ally Waste CEO James Crawley said, quote, "Waste Consolidators marks our 5th addition to the platform since teaming up with RF in 2022, further solidifying what has been an incredibly fruitful and dynamic partnership. The additions of Waste Consolidators and Waste Control propel us closer to our goal of providing the only full-service trash support provider for apartment complexes in the market." End quote. Up next, Microsoft is partnering with Enchanted Rock and US Energy to provide renewable natural gas to power Microsoft's new data center in San Jose, California during grid outages. The data center will use Enchanted Rock's resiliency microgrid, utilizing carbon-neutral RNG, and will ensure maximum uptime for Microsoft's new data center by providing reliable backup power during said outages, with U.S. Energy delivering the RNG sourced from diverted food waste that would have otherwise ended up in landfills. Up next, OSHA announced recently that the agency is replacing traditional hard hats used by its employees with more modern safety helmets to protect them better at inspection sites. On November 22nd of this year, OSHA published a safety and health information bulletin detailing key differences between traditional hard hats and more modern safety helmets, and the advancements in design, materials, and other features that help protect workers' entire heads better. The agency recommends these new safety helmets be used across a variety of different industries and work sites. OSHA says it wants employers to make safety and health a core value in their workplaces, and says they are also committed to doing the same by leading by example and embracing the evolution of head protection. And just a reminder, Recyclist is brought to you by Diamond Scientific, an industry leader in gas analysis, instrumentation, and solutions. Make sure to visit them online at diamondsci.com. That's diamondsci.com, or call them at 321-223-7500. Now on with the news. Green Impact Partners in Canada announced this past week they have received final approval from the Government of Alberta's Ministry of Environment and Protected Areas for the construction and operation of what they are calling their Future Energy Park, an estimated $1.2 billion renewable biofuels facility to be located along the eastern edge of the city of Calgary. The project will create approximately 800 jobs over 24 months during construction and approximately 100 direct and indirect jobs during operation. Once operational, the facility's estimated annual production is over 3.5 million metric meter BTUs of renewable natural gas and approximately 350,000 tons of high-quality wet distiller's grain. Once completed, the Future Energy Park is expected to be North America's largest carbon-negative biofuels facility. And along those same lines, a new state-of-the-art plastics recycling facility has officially opened up in Rogers, Minnesota. MyPlas USA, a South Africa-based plastics recycler, opened its mechanical recycling and pelletizing plant near Minneapolis, marking a major milestone for a collaborative effort among leading global businesses to catalyze a regional circular economy for flexible firms and packaging materials in the upper Midwest. MyPlas USA CEO said, quote, "This is a very exciting day for MyPlas as we open our U.S. headquarters and our first U.S. recycling facility in Minnesota. It's been a remarkable journey to help bring this vision to life, and we are proud to bring our expertise to this groundbreaking initiative." End quote. At full capacity, the facility will recycle nearly 90 million pounds of plastic waste per year, enough to encircle the globe in pallet wrap more than 135 times. And sticking with recycling, 4 more Stamford, Connecticut neighborhoods are now slated to receive new food scrap composters thanks to a $2 million grant from the EPA. Up until now, residents had been able to drop off their scraps at the centralized Katrina Mygat Recycling Center. However, officials found that for some in the northern parts of the city, it could take upwards of an hour round trip to bring their scraps to the center, with residents there indicating the drive time became a major impediment to participation. With the new grant from the EPA, Stamford plans to buy 4 more machines and set them up in different areas of the city. Stamford was one of 25 communities the EPA recently picked to receive a solid waste infrastructure for recycling grant. And lastly, we have a particularly amazing story to send you guys into the holidays with, as 4 waste professionals out of the city of Moss Point, Mississippi are being hailed as heroes this week. Dartavius Coven, Corey Thomas, Jalen Mitchell, and Jonathan Cooper successfully pulled an elderly woman and her grandchild from a burning building this past week during their morning shift, saving their lives. The victims rescued from the home were then rushed to the nearby USA Health University Hospital, with family members deeply expressing their gratitude to the 4 men, saying, quote, "My grandmother and cousin would not be here right now if not for Dartavius and the other guys. We have taken so many losses this year. If we had lost my grandmother too, I do not know what we would have done. My family is forever grateful." End quote. The 4 men were also recognized for their heroic actions during the City of Moss Point's board meeting this past week. And that will do it for Recyclist for December 15th, 2023, presented by Diamond Scientific. I've been your host, Eric Provost, and we will actually be taking next week off to celebrate the holidays. I hope you all have an amazing Christmas, and I'll see you back here the following week for another brand new episode of Recyclist. Thank you, and Merry Christmas.